Here's the primary principle. If a game succeeds, I win. The more valuable thing isn't a game key. The more valuable thing to me is that I'm getting to play a game I want to play for more than a day. And the only way that's going to happen is if instead of treating these people like key sources, is that I express genuine excitement continually over the development process of a game.
Indie development scene is, especially right now, is basically in a golden age where we're just spitting out innovation after innovation every fucking week, and it's you can't even keep up. And you have always been a very strong supporter of indie developers.
This is a topic I love, and it stems from a very particular event in my streaming life. About a year, you guys will notice, like, okay, so a year and a half ago, I was a Twitter fiend and I was a jackass and fighting all the time. Now I'll still do that when I need to, and if I need to call a bitch out, I will, right? But currently, I've changed dramatically in the way I handle myself, and that is because of a very specific series of events that happened. There were two indie development teams that treated me very special, and so side note, I lucked out very, very early on. Since the beginning of Twitch, I've had devs come by my stream, and so it kind of just became part of it. Josiah Renenbaum from here. What was the big one? He was involved in. Oh my gosh, what's that third? It's a third-person shooter about the horrors of war. It's a little older, and everybody really, really loves it. Brain farting.
The Division? No, I know exactly which one. I know exactly which one you mean. You're in Dubai, and you're these guys.
The Dubai one.
Yeah.
So Josiah was on that team. Is Spec Ops: The Line, one of the greatest games of all time, with one of the worst control schemes in the universe. I know Josiah. He was great to me. Was really, really cool. Hung out as we played Here They Lie for a couple days, and so that impacted me. Where I was like, okay, these guys are accessible, right? I'll just take you down the line how I got here, and then I'll give you my important thoughts that I think there's some shit that's happening right now that's going to change the actual community that I'm involved with, and I'll say some of it. I'll say some of it. Yeah, I'm not. I can say some of it eventually.
Allowed to.
Yeah. So I had that experience, and then we went to TwitchCon, and I met Andy Bennett from Funcom. Andy Bennett treated me so good, so seriously. And so early on, I had these experiences where I met these developers and they became friends because Andy and I like a lot of the same shit. Like we love boomer shooters and we love memes and so Andy and I became friends. And then the probably the third impactful moment for me that connected me to developers as a whole, the idea of development teams and PR people and industry individuals. Is I met my friend Josh Sullivan. Josh is the developer responsible for Bullets Per Minute. As you guys know, I love that game, and that game did pretty well on Twitch because of their involvement with a few larger streamers. But the first couple days, BPM, they gave me the game a couple weeks early, and I got to play it, and I really loved it. And so we saw BPM succeed on Twitch, and I was like, this is cool because big streamers played it. The categories were bulked out. The game was good. And so as a streamer, it was exciting because the big guys only hit it for a day because they were all playing Grand Theft Auto or whatever the hell it was at that time. Big guys hit it, brought some attention to it. And then all of the streamers that were my size at the time played it, and it was live for about 3 to 4 days, which is pretty decent on Twitch for a new release. It's not AAA. And so it's like, you get 3 or 4 days out of a game. You can drag it out a little longer if you want, but it was cool. And so then the most impactful event that started me, like, because here's the point. I have these developers and industry people that I really enjoy as people. I have genuine friendships. They would call me a friend. I'm not just some streamer. They would say my friend Jared. I would say my friend Josh, my friend Andy. Like, a game came out that I loved. It's on sale today, 50% off. Other Side, go buy it. It's really good. Other Side came out, and it lasted for a day. And it's amazing. That game is so good. It is so incredible. And I was just like, this is rad. Second game came on. Nobody's streaming it. 2 people. Discoverability tanked. Sales tanked. They didn't succeed until it came out on PlayStation financially. Okay? So I was like, dude, this sucks ass, because these people poured their time into this game, and given they eventually made money, the challenge with it is that they left a lot of money on the table. Because I started thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? Streamers make new sales, because every time, if I were to go play BPM or Other Side right now, people in chat would buy it. New people who would never buy it would buy it if I play that. If right now I were to go boot up Other Side, boom, tons of people have never played it. Awesome, cool.
Same with Bannerlord.
Yeah.
When I play Bannerlord, with the chat integration now, like Tollbot has literally come to me and be like, when I get paid.
I saw him.
Yeah, when I get paid, I'm going to buy Bannerlord. And I'm like, damn, you know?
Yeah. People buy games because of us. And so I'm like, I'm starting to form this like view of this relationship, because it's not just that they buy. Streamers could stop there with that stupid, arrogant thought. They could say people buy games because of us. Yeah, but here's the problem: is you can't play those games and succeed as a streamer. I cannot go play BPM and meet a bunch of new people and grow, because I'm taking Twitch seriously. I have to grow. This is my goal for growth, is a new follower statistically every 15 to 20 minutes at this current stage of my career. It's what I hit on average. Like that's of live play. That's my goal, and that's generally what I'm hitting. If I go play BPM, I'm gonna get a follow from a raid, and raid follows are half follows. You might capture them. I have some very awesome developed thoughts you guys would love on rating and why it's good, but that's a whole different thing. Like, point is I don't get to play what I want unless the category is full, or not necessarily full, but let's say hypothetically, it needs probably 10 to 15 people streaming it. It probably needs about 300 viewers for basic discoverability with how far people scroll down. BPM, if I were to pull it up right now, probably nobody's playing it. Maybe 5 people are watching at the most. Like it's not really. But what if I want to play it? Well, it'll create sales. And so I'm like, just like, man, this sucks, because there's all these people making cool games and they're leaving money on the table, and it's just like, shit, man. Like, there is this natural symbiotic relationship that streamers have with developers that people are not. They're not developing, because there are all sorts of ways that people interact with indie developers. The worst one, developers, publishers, stuff like that, is using them as key sources. Like, sometimes that's appropriate. You can hit up some companies and be like, hey, I'm thinking about playing your game. If you gave me a key, I'd be thankful for it. But just know that I'm going to stream it anyway. So there's my interest, right? And so that's like that's like where most people stop, but they're not even nice about it. They'll just be like, can I have a key? And so as I started to really put some brain work into all this stuff, I was like, you know what? You know how streamers can like actually, here's the primary principle. If a game succeeds, I win. The more valuable thing isn't a game key. The more valuable thing to me is that I'm getting to play a game I want to play for more than a day. And the only way that's going to happen is if, instead of treating these people like key sources, is that I express genuine excitement continually over the development process of a game. I have to pay attention. I have to be connected in the industry. I have to look at it and be like, okay, this game is coming out. The development looks like this. There's this game Kriegsfront coming out that I'm very interested in. It's a turn-based mech retro thing, and it's freaking dope. And so whenever I see it, I express that. I will retweet it. I will say stuff about it. And here's the big thing about it. Developers aren't idiots. They know if you're not actually interested. Like, I see these dudes on Twitter who will retweet anything, or they'll be like, hey, are there any indie developers that I'm missing out on knowing right now? It's not about that. You don't fucking know what they're making. They could be making a shitty game. You don't care.
The better question they should be asking themselves is, what kind of game do I want to play? As opposed to people, when they're small, and I've even been here myself, is like, the idea of keys is very alluring. It's like, oh, people are giving me stuff. That means I'm successful, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, but do you actually care? Do you actually want to play Raid Shadow Legends? Or would you rather be playing BPM or Other Side, which I don't know if you were paying attention to the screen, but I just bought it.
Oh, it's so good. I missed it, dude.
I have
so
had this game on my eye for months now.
Well, and they tweeted last night that it went on 50%, and I was like, hell yeah, I better tell everybody this.
Yeah, so just bought it right there on stream. And the download killed your video quality for like half a minute. So sorry about that.
So like, here's the thing. You have a couple different ways that people treat devs. And this is important for the conversation about like what a healthy relationship and what a successful relationship, a real relationship looks like with developers, studios, publishers. And I say publishers because that is a category people don't think about, and it is the most important one to know. It is also the hardest one to break into.
Yep.
The idea of they're not key people, and they're not Pokemon. And that is a huge problem for most streamers that once they enter into. I want us as a stream culture to understand how to relate to developers, to industry people. I'm just going to start saying industry people. The way to relate to industry people is not to collect them all. It's to be connected and support and do everything you can to have the games succeed that you are interested in, so you can play them for a few extra days, so that you can put on better shows and grow and be discoverable in those categories. Like, and that's the thing, is a lot of people start treating them like, oh, a developer followed me. Like, and when I started getting, like, I get a lot of development follows on Twitter. When I started doing it, I found that in myself, where I was like, oh, I'm getting so many of them. And it's like, well, that doesn't matter. What matters is that their projects succeed, because if they win, I win. And because of the relationship that I've formed with a lot of these guys over time, like, there is stuff in the works right now that I am. If you've paid attention to my Twitter, there is stuff in the works with certain publishing companies where they are looking into creating the ability to compensate streamers for any new sales that they actually make associated with their stuff. That's huge. Why is that huge? Not because of the money. It is huge because it's just enough compensation to get people to stream the games and make them growable areas. And so you win doubly as a streamer.
Nobody should be expecting they're going to make thousands out of something.
Yeah, I mean,
like that.
like say hypothetically, like the stuff that these companies I'm talking to right now, and these are real conversations. Like, and this is I earned the right for this conversation because I've supported their products and because they've seen the results. I've delivered numbers to them to be like, streamers create sales here. We've done this. We've tracked the stats. Like, we had a thing in my chat. This was a lot of work. We had a thing in my chat earlier this year where I said, hey, if you're buying this game specifically because of me, use this link. I'm not getting anything for it other than it's saying that you did it, because I'm going to use this someday. And we did that. And so I'm having conversation with people where I'm like, hey, you know what? I want 10%. I want 10% of your sales. Why? Well, here's the reason. It's a new sale. If you don't compensate streamers for their time, give them a carrot. The smallest carrot. It doesn't have to be a big carrot. If you do this, more people will stream your game. And if you don't do this, you're leaving money on the table. So you either can try to get 100% or you can try to get 90%.
So basically, what 10%?
Or you can't get 100%. Yeah, you can't get 100%.
What 10% you might get from that will be eclipsed by the number of sales that they generate by having more streamers stream the game and expose it to a larger audience. It's like 20,000 sales from the entire streaming community.
It's money they weren't It's money they weren't going to get because it's just literally sitting on the table. It's new sales. And two, the biggest deal is not just, okay, the funny thing is like, people are like, well, 10% is not much. Dude, you freak out when you get a sub. Shut the hell up. like it's a $20 game. You're going to make $2. Dude, that's what you make on a sub. Come on. Like, that's nice. It's a nice little carrot
for one sale. It's like,
well, dude, that's the profit of a sub. It's like, you do like that much money. Just shut up and take it. But like, the idea isn't actually the money. It's just enough compensation to make it, like me, I would be more likely to play some of these games. Let's say hypothetically, and this is totally hypothetical. This is not a company I'm involved with, but the guy who's making Proteus. Let's say Proteus comes out. It's an amazing boomer shooter. Awesome, cool. Well, let's say that publishing company, whichever one it is, I don't even know, is the first one to say, you know what, if a streamer makes a new sale, we're going to give them 10%. Well, okay, you're going to have a game last, instead of 1 day, you're going to have it last 6 days, maybe 5 days. And then if you revisit it, it's through, let's say, hypothetically, through an affiliate program, through GOG or something like that. Let's say I could revisit it every 6 months and be like, hey guys, if you happen to buy this, go ahead and do it this way. It gives me motivation to return, to make new sales, because the call to action that people naturally have when they can make $2 is real. It actually statistically is there. But the actual winning thing is that instead of playing a game I like for 1 day, I can play it for 5 and I can meet new people. It's just enough motivation to fill the category with people who those little carrots will get people to do that. And so, like, we've looked at the stats on it, and the point is like there's a symbiotic relationship that is being developed with developers, and it's happening whether people like it or not. We're working on it with publishers, and that happened because we earned that's happening because we are earning people's trust, because they're seeing that there actually is a symbiotic relationship. And streamers have not treated relationships with developers symbiotically. It's been a very one-way street for a long time.
Good streamers do. Good streamers do. Like, a perfect example of this, someone we all know, is Toll Biscuit, and he knew how to connect with developers and producers. And when companies were shit to him, and like you trying to take down his content and throw DMCA notices and all that crap, he made sure people knew about it. So that actually helped create a reputation of responsibility on his part, where bullshit creators will get called out and good creators will get promoted. And he wasn't just playing random games. He was playing shit that he actually enjoyed. And that's the essential thing. If you play a random crappy game that you've no interest in, nobody's going to buy it if they watch you.
Let's just say that game, is one that the development studio was like, hey guys, you know what? If you enjoy this game and you happen to sell copies, we're going to go ahead and throw you 10%. There will be more streamers in that category streaming it, which means more discoverability, because those streamers bring their communities in. And so you go from 10 viewers in that category to 200 viewers in that category. And that's better for you as a streamer, because then instead of meeting 2 people, you might have met 10 that day. And so there's this multi-leveled symbiotic relationship with these with these industry people and with us, and people are not realizing that the start of that is legitimate interest, and it is making a game succeed. It doesn't go backwards. The game has to succeed for it to benefit us. It doesn't benefit us if the game does not succeed. And so we have to make sure, if there's a game we're interested in, we cause it to succeed. And yeah, the 10% thing, that's down the line, probably a year from now. It's going to happen with some of these publishing companies, maybe sooner. But the idea, the principle is that these companies, you say that independent games are the thing that allows streamers to grow, and that's 100% true, because AAA titles, if you play a AAA title, if my size, I play a AAA title, I'll grow a little bit. I'll go down to about a follow every 2 hours on a AAA title that just comes out, maybe every 3 hours, and I might get 2 follows in a stream. But in an indie environment, like, because they're smaller, because they are marketed less, because the categories are more empty because of that, that is where newer streamers, smaller streamers, medium-sized streamers, anybody who's not like a heavy hitter, that is where we grow. And if we can allow those to have extended lifetimes because the game succeeds, then we win. And so yeah, the start of it is, like, people are always like, Jared, how do I connect to these people? How do I have relationships with people? Well, find some games you like on Twitter. Like, there's stuff that people don't realize. Screenshot Saturday. Just literally write one word in your search bar, Screenshot Saturday. Search. You are going to find indie titles that are in development, and when you find them, follow those accounts, and when you see cool things, tweet about it, talk about it. Like, and you begin to form these relationships because you're supporting something, and they need that support to succeed.
And here's the thing that you mentioned, and I'm so happy that you brought it up. With indie games, you're dealing with people. You're not dealing with their marketing department. You're not dealing with their, under over. You're not dealing with their bottom line. You're dealing with people, right? And this happened with the Obsidian Prince, the roguelike.
Yeah, that game is dope, dude.
Oh, it's so good. And like the reason I found out about it is because they took the people approach to streamers rather than the streamers taking the people approach to companies. And they approached me and they sent me an email, just complete cold call, and they said, "Hey, we've seen you play Darkest Dungeon. We've seen you play this game. We've seen you play this game. We're working on this game right here, link to the beta. And would you like to play this on your stream and tell us so we can hang out in chat and answer any and all questions you and your chat might have?" And that was so nice. That was so like well researched that of course I freaking did that.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, and dude, that lady is so kind.
Oh, she is awesome.
Dude, she charmed the hell out of me in a DM. I was just like, I wasn't even really considering it. I forget what she said. Dude, and this is the humanization thing. Like, and that's the thing about these indies is when she wrote me, she was like, "I have streamers of all sizes, but I don't have a very tall one." And I was just like, "I love you. Like, this is hilarious." Like, a professional email being unprofessional is the most charming thing to me. And it's like these people, they want, some of them understand what streamers do and some of them don't, but they all need our help. And if there's a game you want to play, you'd better talk about it and you better tell your friends about it.
Exactly. And that goes into somebody, the three Herring Corporation asked that question. How does the game grow outside of your community? Well, once again, in my real life experience working in big IT and design and service design and all sorts of things, we have like a hard and fast rule, and that is someone who's happy with their experience will tell 3, maybe 5 people about their good experience, and then those 3 to 5 people, 1, 2, 3, maybe even all of them, will check it out, maybe get it for themselves. Someone who's unhappy with their experience will tell 15 people, 20 people. And they will make sure that these 20 to 30 whatever people stay the hell away. And you will listen to that because you trust this person. Yeah. And that is how a game grows outside of the streamer, because one guy having a good experience with a game can lead to 3 people, can lead to 9 people, can lead to etc., etc., etc.
There's one game that exemplifies this better than any other game out there, and that's Among Us.
Yes.
A game will explode outside your community if it's a game designed to explode outside your community. People enjoyed Among Us existed for like a year with only a few thousand people knowing about it until someone streamed it, and then it became the biggest fucking phenomenon on the planet and has like more view. And this should say a lot to AAA developers too, that we don't give 2 flying fucks about your fancy graphics. Just give us a fun little game with like MS Paint characters, and as long as it's really fun, people will spread it, people will share it, people will talk about it, and it will become the biggest phenomenon ever if it's designed to be fun.
And I completely agree with that, but I'm so ready for us to get to the point where the graphics are good enough now, right? The cutting, the bleeding edge graphics. Yeah. They're good enough, right? I'm ready for AAA games to finally go into scale. Like, imagine fucking Skyrim and the army is actually an army and not just 5 dudes. Imagine Red Dead Redemption.
5 guys are very tough.
Yes, but imagine Red Dead Redemption where you storm, the prison in one of the missions, and there's actually 500 prison guards because it's actually a huge fucking prison.
How does it spread beyond the community? That question has a misunderstanding of how communities work. Communities are connected.
Yes,
they cross over, and that is the most important thing you can understand. Is you might only have 5 people in your core community. Community is really hard to nail down. It's not a set number. It's not interaction. There's ebbs and flows. People leave, people come back. You never know who's in your community, because your community also is lurkers. And that is a key part of your community. Man vs. Game doesn't know my damn name. I was part of his community for years. Like that, I watch Lakari. I'm part of Lakari's community. I watch Train. Sometimes Train talks to me. He probably doesn't know my name. Like, but I am part of these communities, but I'm also part of Sep's community. And communities cross over a lot. And so the idea of if we help a game to succeed as streamers, how does it get outside of our community? It's already outside of the community. There's bleed over, because how many times have I played games because Seth has played it and I went, Seth has had a really good time with that. It matches my people because half my people are his people. Massive crossover. And I look at it and Sethis affects my community, and then my community affects somebody else's community, and that affects somebody else's community. And so we all have these shared communities. And so, yeah, that question isn't like how does it get outside of the community? If it has interest within a community, it gets interest without or outside of a community. And so if people want to play the games they want to play, we have to help those games succeed so that we can get and success doesn't necessarily have to be Among Us big. Success for these games, really, there's two things that we can define as success. Success is, one, I grow while I'm playing it, and two, the developer makes enough money that it was worth it for them to do.
Yeah,
those are the only gauges of success. Everything else is like bonus, but once you hit those lines, both people have succeeded, and that's all we care about.
Hey there, beautiful people. Thanks for reaching the end of the episode. If you're listening to this, please do consider checking us out on Patreon, as well as dropping a follow and a like here. Also, check us out on Twitch, where you can be directly involved in these discussions face to face with me. We can have some nice, deep conversations about all the different things that we discuss here on this channel. Take care of yourselves. Stay beautiful.